Hi there, John Shell, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Corvette Power Top Service. Been involved with the Corvette Power Tops now for about 25 years. I had a Corvette shop back in the 70s and 80s, worked at a Chevrolet dealership, and never came across a Power Top car until 1990 when I bought one myself. To try to go out and collect all the parts, not knowing exactly what I needed, and looking at the assembly manual looked very frustrating. But through other people helping me and looking at cars, taking at pictures, I have got a system down now that the Power Tops are working very great in these cars. And so this is a 59. This car right here is a good example of original 1959 Power Top car. It is one of 661 made that year. My customer from North Carolina has brought the car to me. It did have some switches in it yet from the factory, but most of the components were missing. So my job was to restore this unit and to get it working. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the operational steps of the power of the deck lid going up and the power top, or the top going down, and then the reverse. I'm going to go through the configuration of the hoses today, and in future videos in the subscription to Corvette Power Top Service, I will be dealing with some different switches and adjustments and things like that. So I hope you look at the video. I hope you learn something, and it is instructive to you, okay? We're going to start in the trunk area here, and you can see that we have a motor, that we have a deck lid solenoid valve, and we have the convertible top solenoid valve. This cylinder here operates the deck lid. Notice we have a paddle here that when the deck lid goes up, it will touch these micro switches in here, which signals the convertible top to start moving. These must be compressed for the convertible top to move. We have a base here, and this, if you notice that the deck lid cylinder is definitely shorter than the convertible top cylinders that mount on the right and left hand sides behind the seats. We have a hose guide right here that keeps the hoses guided to their destinations, and we have the deck lid solenoid valve right here. I want to tell you that this port right here, your driver's side port, will push the cylinder down. It attaches to the top of the cylinder. The left-hand port to the top of the cylinder. The right-hand port attaches to the bottom of the cylinder to push up. So in other words, this is pushing down, this is pushing up. On your convertible top solenoid, it is the same configuration. This hose here, going through the guide, over through. You can see it's going through the 3 1/4 inch hole from the factory, because this is where the factory people put the cylinders through. This was all hooked up as a unit when it was installed. So this port here, this port here is pushing the cylinder down. In other words, the convertible top. The port on the left-hand side here, which is the driver's side, this hose here, this port here, will guide again through the 3 1/4 inch hole, and it will push the cylinder down. This is down. The passenger side port, which hose goes to each side, will be pushing the cylinder up. This port here mounts to the bottom port of the cylinder on each side. Here we have a safety switch for the trunk lid, and the deck lid cannot be up at the same time. This switch prevents any malfunctions of this deck lid being up or this trunk lid being up some. So this will cancel if this switch is not pushed down by the trunk lid. We will have a the system will not work. You will hear the motor run, but the solenoid valves will not work. So this is the completion of the system here in the trunk. I want to tell you that this is a reproduction motor. I have these motors made. The original ones had a rotor type valve in it. There are some generic motors out there that have real small gears in it. This company that I have make these motors, this also has a rotary gear in it, and it pumps almost the same at about 250 to 300 pounds of pressure. This is the motor, this is the pump, and this is the reservoir, which holds right around a pint of fluid. So this is the completion of our overview in the trunk area. Interior of the car, and what we have is we have a momentary toggle switch. This switch will automatically come back to neutral. If it pushed forward, it'll come back to neutral. If it is pulled back, it'll come back to neutral. So this is 1958 to 1962 had the toggle switch right here by your courtesy light. 56, 57 had a push and pull switch over here by the hood release. So this switch right here, and what the operation is, to pull the switch back, we are putting the top down. To push the switch forward, we're putting the top up. Now, let's get in the car and we will do the operation. Okay, our next step is to unhook the convertible top. I have already released the ones on the deck lid, and so these will be released here. And the deck lid button, the chrome button here, must also be pushed, of course. And what I'm going to do, there's straps that now we're going to do the operational part of putting the top down. And of course I have to unhook these latches here on the header, and which I've already done, and I've unhooked these latches back here on the deck lid. We must push this button here then to pop the deck lid up. And on your cars from the factory and some of your top manufacturers, they have a strap. This car is missing the straps, but these straps are for both sides and they hold this good and tight right here. But since we do not have the straps, I'm going to hold the top up in the back so the deck lid can come up. So I'm going to pull the switch back now. With my right hand, I'm going to hold up the back of the top, and with my left hand, I'm going to pull the switch, the momentary switch back. And the deck lid will go up now. And then your top coming down, I'm holding the back, and now I'm dropping it. And now your deck lid going back down. And then with my left arm, I'm closing it. It's the operation of the top going down. Now we're going to put the top back up. Of course, we've got to push the deck lid button again, which pops that up. And we're going to be pushing the switch forward now. And the deck lid will be going up. I like the deck lid to go up in about 4 or 5 seconds. If it's taking 6, 7, 8 seconds to go up, then we know that the solenoid valve on the inside is leaking fluid and does not have the pressure that it needs to operate the deck lid perfectly. So here we go. Deck lid going up. Hitting switches. Top going up. Putting my hand back here now. Deck lid going down. and we're ready to put the latches in. I want to show you a general view and the operation of some of these switches. In later videos, I'm going to get into a more detailed operation of it. But we have a safety switch here. With this deck lid being down and this switch being compressed, all you will hear is the motor run. It stops everything else. But everything in this whole operation of the power top starts right here. From the switches up here on the on your momentary switch, we have a green and a blue wire. Those are the hot wires that make this system work. Back here, underneath this cover, we have the two micro switches that we talked about, the paddle that is in the trunk area hitting. And so those, as you see this deck lid going up, these two switches inside this box are compressed. Over here then, on the passenger side, and I'll move over that area, switch assembly. Clear down in here, you cannot see it. It's right down in here beside the seat, and it has two micro switches in it also. And as the top goes down, it cancels the switch on the bottom. As the top goes up, it cancels the switch on the top of that bracket. It also has an arm about that long from the switch assembly to the convertible top. As the convertible top goes up and down, it actually moves the little lever down there on that bracket to cancel these switches. If you can see, my photographer here, you can see the cylinder way down in there, and it does mount to the seat belt brackets. And all your seat belt brackets were the same in those years, and they did have holes for the power top cylinders. One other component with the power top system, and if your car had power windows, is we have a 40 amp breaker right here. Now this red wire is going down to your starter solenoid that your main starter wire is hooked to from your battery. This wire right here is going into the switch assembly. This 40 amp breaker is a very important, this is a starting point for the conduit, the electrical part going to your switch. If you notice this wire right here, I have run a wire from the motor mount back there up to the negative side of the battery, and the reason why is on this up here on your motor mount, we normally have ground straps on both sides that ground the motor to the frame. If you notice on this car, they're missing. I did put the ground strap to the frame back there, but to make sure that I have a good ground, I tucked a wire in all the way up along the side of the main wiring harness to the negative side of the battery. So these cars must have a good ground. That can be a real gremlin in the system if the car is not restored and has a rusty frame. You could put a ground wire clear in the back and you may not have a good enough ground to run your power top unit. It may run some, but it will not run real well. So not taking a chance, I have told men, customers, if your frame is rusty, if it's a non-restored car, think about running a wire directly up to the battery. Hope you enjoyed my video here, and hope to have some future advice on power tops in the future. Make some comments, appreciate that. Make sure you're a subscription to Corvette Power Top Service, and thank you for watching. And as I put this up, just remember, I've got the power, but it's power tops, okay? Thank you.